Today we're working on these really interesting feet. They're so mismatched. One's low, one's high, one's wide, one's narrow. It's kind of fun to learn about them and see the different pressures that create those two different feet, and then also to see the influence on the hind end through the spine. And high-low feet or mismatched front feet really have helped me learn a lot about biomechanics and dynamic balance. So let's get into it. All four look good. Beautiful. I always start with the low foot. I feel like it gives me the most information about what's happening overall in the body. I can always increase the low foot angle, and it helps me kind of determine how much to decrease the high foot angle. But as always, we address that horizontal growth first, so we maintain that vertical depth, and that is always the highest priority. By decreasing that horizontal length, we naturally increase the mechanical angle, even if we don't increase the actual coffin bone angle. Just by decreasing the lever length of the toe, we decrease the amount of force necessary to move over this foot and decrease the amount of force over the navicular joint. Now that I've decreased that horizontal growth, or trimmed the horizontal growth in a sense, I can more easily visualize the amount of vertical depth I have. And this being the low foot, my overall goal is usually to raise angle, but she actually is in pretty good shape here. Her heels are as high as her frog, and her toe length is a decent length at this point for her size. So let's put in our rocker toe between the first two nail holes. And as far as this foot goes, that's about it. Got gorgeous thick sole, nice concavity, a nice healthy frog. Why take all that strength away when we can leave it and help her have a stronger foot? Better blood flow, better concussion absorption. We can always come back and trim more, but we can't put it back. So I'm going to leave it for now, and we'll see how it compares to the other 3 feet. We want this frog to function. We want a lot of mass, volume, strength, thickness in order to help that whole foot function and hold the load. So we take away the minimum, not the maximum. The high foot's interesting because a lot of times the high foot is collapsing at the toe, where we see the low foot collapsing at the heel. So the high foot ends up being too vertically short from the apex of the frog forward, where the low foot is too vertically short, kind of usually from the widest point backwards. And if we realize that's what's going on, we can trim around the coffin bone in a way that sets the bone alignment up to help hold the spine straight. Removing all that horizontal growth. Okay. All right. So where her other foot was, her low foot was longer in the toe, her high foot is longer vertically in the heels. It's important when you lower heels on a high foot that you first address horizontal growth and breakover, because if you leave that long and lower the heels, you increase the stress on the navicular area, coffin joint, which is already under a lot more tension. Still a little high medial. Better to take it away a little at a time and come back and do more than to take more and make a mistake. Over trimming, you know, is the number one problem. The number one issue that we farriers create is we over trim. All right. If we were to measure exclusively by HPA, hoof pastern axis, this heel is still a little bit high, and it measures just a tiny bit high. So we'd rather have the high foot measure higher than lower. Okay. So good, mama. Interesting fact, most horses have the high foot on the right side. It's kind of like there's more right-handed people than left-handed people. The high and low feet are exactly the same idea as side dominance. And most horses have the high foot on the right side. They're in the majority. All right, beautiful. Oh, okay. Will you answer it? I'll be right there. Open. I've been working on this mare for a while, and it's got such a beautiful foot, moving pretty well. So this sole and this frog have all had time to develop, but it's really important to not take it away. We want to keep that strength, keep that depth. So vitally important for blood flow, concussion absorption. So I'm really doing the minimal sole preparation here. Kind of only what's needed to not sit on the shoe, and then for hygiene's sake. Not a whole lot of good reasons from the horse's point of view to do more than that. You want to treat proactively for thrush. Treat proactively to avoid abscesses under the pad. We're ready to go. I've learned so much about horses in general from looking at high-low feet, and they really set up the high-low or the mismatched front feet really set up really common and predictable body patterns. And knowing what those are after seeing thousands and thousands of horses has really helped me learn what to expect and what movements they cause, be it positive or negative, and how to treat those. It's amazing to think that you can treat a hind end through a front end and vice versa, but it's all connected, so through the spine. So our goal always really is to help the spine be straight, round, strong, to support the weight of the rider. I love dressage because the focus on correct movement has taught me so much about what that is and helped me bring that to other disciplines where the focus is not so much on the correctness of the movement, but I can help that be there, which always makes the horse's job easier. No matter what the discipline, a strong hind end, a straight spine, a round spine will always make a horse's job easier no matter what the discipline. Good job, Mama. And I'll tell you, the road to a straight, strong spine, a round spine, starts with vertical depth and breakover. Okay. I gotcha. Not overdressing that foot, not overdressing the top either, because we want to maintain that strength. The periopal is there for a reason. The thickness is there for a reason. Let's leave it. This mare's got good structure, thick walls, a nice thick frog, good heel height, but we still use pads. And I just feel like with the difference in where the weight's being placed, the accumulation of pressure, the difference in the mismatched feet, the high-low feet, putting a pad with packing really affects the foot from the inside out and helps distribute those uneven pressures even better than just the trim alone. So I'm not using this pad and packing as protection so much as an orthotic to influence the inside of the foot. Okay. This packing that we have these days, whether it be pour-in packing like this or dental impression material, is really a massive innovation for the horse's foot. And by adding a firm but flexible packing to their foot and distributing that weight just the same as we do an orthotic in our own boots, we're able to do massive amounts of good for the internal structures in a very simple, minimal way. All right, well, she was an interesting case and always is because of the difference between her two front feet and what it takes to balance them out and what the goals of balancing them out are. And then to see her go on and her performance improve or hear back from the trainers is always fascinating, and I can transfer that learning to a lot of other horses. And she came out really well. She's got all the things that I look for: breakover, vertical depth, size, angle. So we'll see how she goes.